Hi, this is Amy Romeo from the jewelry making and craft blog, amyromeo.com. And if you just got a Cricut cutting machine and you want to know how to make earrings with it, but you're not sure what you need to get started, then this is the video for you. I'll be walking you through exactly what you need to make faux leather earrings with your Cricut, whether you're using the Maker or the Explore Air 2 or the Cricut Joy. And if you hang with me until the end of the video, I will have a link for you to grab my free Cricut Earrings Quick Start Guide, as well as a free teardrop earring shape template for you to get started making earrings right away. If you like this video, I really hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. Be sure to hit that notification bell icon so you get notified when I post new videos. And let's get started. So the first thing you'll need to make faux leather earrings with a Cricut is a Cricut cutting machine. And you can use the Maker or the Explore Air 2 or the Cricut Joy to cut faux leather. It's a misconception that you need to have the Maker. You don't. You can absolutely cut faux leather with all three of these machines. And that's because the blade that comes standard in these three machines is the fine point blade, and that's the blade that I use to cut faux leather most often. Now, if you want to be cutting genuine leather and making genuine leather earrings, that's a different conversation, and you'll want to invest in the Maker because you'll be able to swap out the blades and use the knife blade. But for cutting faux leather, which is what this video is about, you can use any of these machines and you're going to be able to cut faux leather easily. I actually have videos on my YouTube channel on how to make earrings with each of these different machines, and I will link to those in the description box for you. So the next thing you'll need is a purple strong grip cutting mat. This mat is extra sticky, and this is going to help keep your faux leather adhered to the mat well. And you'll use this mat for the Maker and the Explore. The Joy doesn't have a purple strong grip cutting mat, so you'll just use the green mat that comes with the Joy. Because it's smaller and because we'll be taping the material down, this works just as well. So speaking of tape, the next thing you'll need is some blue painter's tape. This is just regular hardware store brand blue painter's tape. You'll use this to secure your faux leather to your cutting mats, and that'll help keep it in place and you'll get a nice good cut. The next thing you'll want to have is a weeding tool, and I like this one from my Cricut basic tool set. It's just a regular pointy weeding tool, and you'll use this a lot actually. One, to check the faux leather cut before you unload your Cricut mat to make sure that the cut went through all the way. And you can also use this to poke holes if you need to. You'll find this very handy. There's lots of different variations. There's a pin pen weeding tool, which is great for weeding intricate areas. This is from 143 vinyl. And here's another kind of dental tool type, but you are going to want a sharp weeding tool when you're making faux leather earrings. The next thing you'll need is some faux leather, and the great news is there's an endless variety of faux leather, especially on Amazon and Etsy, where I buy most of my faux leathers. You'll find that it's less about the material that you use and your cut settings and your mat preparation. Those are all tips and tricks that I will share with you at the end of this video, but I just wanted to go over some options you'll see in the marketplace. This is Cricut brand faux leather. It's a thinner faux leather, but it's very dense, so it's good for making intricate cuts. And this is a great beginner faux leather if you're just starting out. This is an example of an intricate cut. This little scallop shape was cut from this material. This snowflake, the scallops on the edge of the snowflakes were cut from this Cricut faux leather. By the way, these two patterns are free on my blog, and I will link to those in the description if you're interested in checking those out. Cricut brand faux leather, it comes in a variety of colors, but you're not going to find the wide assortment of patterns and textures that you do in other faux leathers. So some other faux leathers I like to use, these are all from Amazon and Etsy. There's a metallic, there's a textured pebbled metallic, a chunky glitter, a solid faux leather. They all have different backings. Some have canvas, some have felt. You will be able to cut almost all of these materials on your machines if you're using the cut settings that I recommend, and some of the tips and tricks I'll share with you at the end of this video. If you are cutting chunky glitter, then I would recommend you pick up some Cricut, the strong grip transfer tape, and you can use this to protect your purple cutting mat from getting glitter all over it. And I have a video specifically about cutting glitter with your Cricut, and I'll link to that for you. Lastly, I wanted to mention Hobby Lobby faux leather. This is very popular because it comes in lots of pretty colors and patterns. I will say it's a little floppier, and I haven't had a ton of success cutting Hobby Lobby faux leather as easily as I cut other materials. So if you want to try making faux leather earrings, I would recommend you save this, using this material, for after you've mastered cutting other materials, so you'll be able to troubleshoot this a little better if necessary. The next thing I recommend is something to make the holes in the earrings after your Cricut cuts them. So this little hole up here. Now you may be wondering, why can't the Cricut just cut the hole? And it certainly can. However, the Cricut doesn't always cut the small hole completely or consistently. So I like to have a backup, and I use a 1/16 inch hole punch to make the earring holes. It's a nice clean cut. I can place it exactly where I want it. If you have the Cricut cut the hole and it doesn't cut all the way through, then you can still go and use your hole punch, because now you have a little location on the earring where you know where to punch. So this is the Fiskars brand. This is a different brand from Amazon. I'll link to these, but these are super, super handy to have when you're getting started making faux leather earrings. If you don't have a hole punch and you're struggling to get your Cricut to make the holes, you can always use your weeding tool and poke the hole that way. That works too. Another thing I recommend is some small curved scissors, like these 4-inch curved scissors from Fiskars. They are great for trimming up the edges of the faux leather earring after you cut. If there's any little felt backing fuzzies, or if there's any canvas strings, you can use these to trim those up quickly. The next thing you'll need are some jewelry making pliers. These are flat nose pliers. They're flat on the inside. You'll see these have a flatter tip, and these have what's called a needle nose tip. They're both flat on the inside without any ridges, which is what you want. And I like to use 2 of them at a time for opening and closing the jump rings to attach the earrings. If you don't have these, then you can always use tweezers in a pinch, or you can use your tools from your garage. But you want to make sure that they don't have teeth inside, because they can scratch up your jump rings. These are available on Amazon, at Hobby Lobby, at Michael's, at any major craft store. So if you're going to be making a lot of earrings, I suggest you invest in 2 flat nose pliers. It's nice to have one of each, one that's pointy and one that's flat, but it can be 2 of the same if necessary. Next, you'll need some earring hooks and some jump rings. And this is a traditional shepherd's hook, and this is a 6mm jump ring. This is what I use most often when making earrings. You can get these on Amazon. You can get these at any craft store. They come in a variety of different finishes, and I like the 6mm jump ring, or a 5mm would be good too. And there's a trick to connecting these two pieces to your faux leather earring to get your earring to hang straight. And I have a whole video about how to do that, and I will link to that for you. And I wanted to show you, if you don't want to use jewelry making pliers, because you will need pliers to open the jump ring and connect these 2 pieces, you can always use an earring hook called a ball ear wire hook. It has a little ball here, and all you do is slide on your faux leather piece and you pull it down to the bottom, and you've created earrings without needing tools or jump rings. So that's another option for you. Those you can get at Hobby Lobby or any craft store. At Hobby Lobby, they come in a little package like this, and they have lots of different finishes. So the last thing you need to make faux leather earrings, and probably the most important thing, is you need an earring SVG cut file or an earring template. And these are digital files that you will upload to Cricut Design Space, and that's what your machine will use to cut your shape. So on my blog, I have lots of different shapes. I have an Etsy shop full of shapes. I have a website, but also Etsy is full of shapes. Different Cricut Design Space has some shapes for you. They're all different. So my biggest tip for you would be pick an SVG shape that is not too complex when you're getting started making faux leather earrings. This is the #1 thing that hangs people up, is they pick a design that's too complicated and too intricate to cut, and then they're frustrated when it doesn't cut successfully. So here is a butterfly shape of mine, and you can see the cutouts in the wings. I would say this is about as complex as you're going to want to get when you're first starting out, so that you learn how to use your machine and you learn how to cut faux leather, and that way you can troubleshoot in the future if your design is more complex. This is a feather design that I have, a 3-layer feather design. Again, it's a pretty shape, but it's very simple to cut. This teardrop is simple as well. It has an opening and a crystal dangle. I have this free on my blog actually if you want to check that out. And this is the basic teardrop shape. This is the most common faux leather shape, and I'm going to give you the shape free. I will have a link at the end of this video so you can grab this SVG. I'll include a version with the pre-cut hole and without the pre-cut hole if you're going to be using the hole punch like we talked about. And then you can go ahead and upload this to Cricut Design Space and cut it on any 3 of these machines. So the SVG cut file is the most important element, and choosing a good one that's not too complex is going to be a key to successfully making faux leather earrings with your Cricut. Now that we've gone through all the tools and materials you need to start making earrings with your Cricut, I hope you'll stick around for the next video where I'll show you step by step from start to finish how to upload an earring SVG file into Cricut Design Space, how to prepare your mat, how to make all the cuts, and even attach the earring hooks. Now, I did promise you some tips and tricks, so if you're ready to just dive right in and get started, I do have a Cricut Earrings Quick Start Guide for you, and it also includes a free teardrop shape SVG file for you to go ahead and get started making earrings with a Cricut. So just go ahead and click the link on your screen. You'll enter your email address so I'll know where to send the Quick Start Guide to you. You'll receive it instantly via email, and you can go ahead and get started making earrings. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one.